Well, good afternoon. It's so good to have you with me today, and I'd like to start off by saying Happy New Year to you. I am excited about being here with you. We have got some wonderful guests lined up for this first quarter of this year, so I want you to, very informative guests. And the first one I have with me today is Miss Alfreda Edmondson, and she is the director of Troop Bell Early Learning Program. And I want you to sit down for the next 30 minutes and just listen to this ministry that's in our area to see if it might be something that you'd either like to become involved in somehow, whether it's through contributions or whatever, and we'll talk about that as time goes on. Yes. But I want you to learn about the program right now. Miss Alfreda, I want you to tell our viewers, what is exactly Troop Bell?
Troop Bell is an early learning initiative that's designed to assist parents with their children from birth to 5 years old in being ready for school. So many times, as we all know, parents are the very best teachers for their children. Mm-hmm. However, there's things that they might not know as it relates to their child's developmental milestone. So what we're designed to do is to go into the home. It's an in-home visitation program. They don't have to come to us. We'll go to them. And we set up curriculum programs that will help assist their children in their development.
Now, how is your program, what qualifies you to do that, I guess?
Okay, Troop Bell is under the curriculum of Parents as Teachers, which is a national Parents as Teachers model. It's in all 50 states in 8 countries. The data has been proven over the last 50 years that this program, this curriculum, is designed specifically to assist parents with children from birth to 5 years old. And the curriculum is designed, if you have a child that's a very quiet child and you don't really know how to get that child to be social, there's a curriculum in that there's something designed for that child. So just about any and everything that you can deal with uprearing a child that might concern you, there's a curriculum there for that. Even if your child is just normal and there are no concerns and you just want to make sure they're developing appropriately, you want to make sure that they know the things that they need to know at 3, at 2, at 2 years, 4 months, 2 years, 5 months. The curriculum changes with the age of the child. We go into the home once a month to visit the family and the child. And it's not just geared to just the needs of the child, but we look at the entire family. Mm-hmm. You know, we try to be sensitive to mom. If mom has 3 children and she's going through a divorce, we try to connect her with resources in the community that would help her through this situation, this time in her life. Because we know that if mom is having a difficult time, it's going to make it difficult for her to do what she needs to do for the child or her children.
How do families know if they qualify for your services? How do they even get to your services?
Well, we do advertisement. We try to market the program throughout the community by way of flyer, wonderful programs like this, radio, brochures. Oftentimes, word of mouth is your best marketing piece. Parents that have been in the program from day one are very pleased with the program, and they tend to tell other parents, and other parents bring other families in. There is no qualification in terms of finances or anything of that. It's a first come, first served basis. And fortunately for us right now, we have a waiting list of children, you know, wanting to get in the program. And we wish we could serve the entire Troop County. We would really love to do that. However, the program do cost money to have the parent educators go out. And so right now we're just kind of limited to a certain area of the community. And how we identified that area back when the program was first being modeled and put together, some community leaders came together with the school system to decide, you know, what areas would be best served with this program right now. So right now we're serving the area of Whitesville Road, Cannon Street, Unity, and Berta Weatherby right now. And we're hoping to branch out, expand over the entire Troop County. Mm-hmm. But right now, those are the areas.
That's the focus. Okay, and how long has Troop Bell been here?
Troop Bell was founded October the 8th, 2008.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going into the 4th year, really, I
well,
guess.
Well, in October,
Be third year.
all the powers that be came together to say this is what the county needs. And actually service delivery started February of 2009.
Oh,
So this is
okay.
our third year of
Okay.
completion.
Okay. All right. How do you know this program's working with the families here in this area? What are you seeing?
Well, fortunately for us, when we first sign a family up, there is an assessment process that's done with the parents as well as the child to see where they are currently. And then about 90 days later, the same assessment is done again. And oftentimes you see where the child was having difficulties in one area, they've progressed and mastered that. And also we have evaluator community studies that keeps up tracking of the children, of the development. Now the long-term success of this program is going to be graduation rates. That's way down the road, but we are seeing some significant changes and developments in families, progress with families.
And so, I mean, the workers get really, I guess they would get personally involved really in a lot of ways. It'd be hard not to, wouldn't it?
They're very involved with the families. We have our parent educators go as far as, going to doctor's appointments with families to make sure that they are keeping up with their doctor's appointments, or getting them set up with GED programs to make sure that, oftentimes we say read to your child, read to the child, read to the child, but sometimes mom, because of her history and her background, she can't read. And she don't want to say to the parent educator or to anyone really, you don't want to broadcast that you can't read.
Right.
So when this is identified, the parent educators do it in a very loving way. Let them know that, if you want to improve on your reading, not say if you can't read, but if you want to improve on your reading and be able to, being more involved with your child, education and development, why don't you check this out? Or here's some information about, a GED program. Or we've had about 8 parents to go through our GED program completed, and 2 of them are going on to the nursing program through the West Georgia
Isn't that
Technical.
wonderful?
Yes, it's absolutely wonderful.
Yes, that's
and they
good.
feel better about themselves.
Sure they do.
And we have a program also within the program called Parent Engagement, where it teaches parents to be leaders in the community and teaches the parents to be the best advocates for their children and know what they need to be advocating for. Not going to the school and being aggressive and my child and screaming, but to sit down and talk with the parent, one professional to the teacher, one professional to another. Find out what the concerns that the teacher might have with this child, and what can you do as a mom to be a partner with that school to make things better, not only for the child, but also for the school.
Now, how is Troop Bell funded?
Initially, Troop Bell received a grant from the Governor's Office of Family and Children to start this program. And they pretty much said, we're going to give you this money. The first year, we'll give you the full amount. The second year, we'll give you a portion. The third year, you're going to have to figure it out for the rest of the way on your own. And that's where we are right now. Figure it out the rest of the way on your own. And we have some great partners within the community that feel like this program is worth saving, this program is worth keeping around, and the benefit of this program is going to be the long run. We have to be reality. If our families are not educated and our children are not educated, then they can't apply for the jobs that require that in the future. So they can either help build the cars, or they're going to steal the cars. They can help run the banks, or they're going to rob the banks. They can help build the homes, or they're going to rob the homes. Which one would you prefer? So starting out early with education, it kind of limits them going into a bad direction. We know that lack of education is a lot of the reasons why people go into criminal activity. So the more educated and more prepared for life a child is, the more we can look for them to be successful. Because although we don't want to admit it, we're going to have to step out of these seats one day. So who will replace? It would have to be someone that's prepared, educated, knowledgeable, and loving. And so we're hoping we're hoping to prepare them for the future.
So
to be leaders.
Who are some of your partners? I mean, can you name any of them?
I have not seen a clause where we cannot. We have a lot of support from the Callaway Foundation.
Wonderful.
We feel very blessed. Saywan Corporation has been very fortunate we've been very fortunate to have Say One Corporation to buy into the program. Also, United Way from day one have been very supportive. You know, our Family and Children's Services have been supportive. Family Connections have been very supportive. Just so in our local churches, the Ministerial Alliance here, you know, have been very supportive. Our councilmen, the city of LaGrange has been very supportive. So everybody coming together, you know, putting a piece here, some large pieces, some small pieces, you know, and there's still room for more because to do a program like this, unfortunately, it's very expensive. You know, once we come in our assessment, we've had children that's been identified with hearing problems, and we were able to get them through the assistance of the Lions Club. They were able to get hearing aids. We have children that needed glasses, and through the assistance of the Rotary Club, we were able to get assistance. So we have a lot of civic clubs that are very involved and want to see the success of this program. So we have a lot of support. Even our local restaurants like Subways and Pizza Huts, they give us discounts because we have once a month group meetings at the local recreational center where the parents will come out and hear from someone in the community that can give them something that they can go on, you know, to the next month, that they can hold on to. Something, it might be in the medical field. We've been blessed to have Dr. Schussler to come and talk about, you know, how do you prevent the flu, or what are some of the signs. And we're hoping to have someone like you to come and just speak and just encourage the families to let them know that you can make it. Sometimes just an encouraging word, you can make it.
That's right.
And sometimes you can, some people are blessed with really, really, you know, well-mannered children and very calm children. Some of us have challenging children.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
You know, my son is 23, and I remember at 3 and 4, he was really challenging. So, you know, to have people to come out and say, you know what, I understand what you're going through, but we still have to work through that, as well as getting this child ready for school. So,
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I guess as I've gotten older and watching my grandchildren now grow, is that God places these children in your home and under your care, and you're exactly the parent that you need. You are the parent that He wants to raise those children to become who they're supposed to be.
Yes.
Because if they're raised by another parent, they would be different.
They would be different. But you know what we've seen a lot of with Troop Bell, Diane?
What?
A lot of grandparents are having to take on the responsibility of being mom.
And that's tough. Let me tell you, I've not had that,
Yes.
but I know even grandparenting is tough.
Yes.
It's very different than it was
Yes.
when I was 30, now
Yes.
that I'm almost 60. I mean,
Yes.
it's very different.
And you know, we feel a little sad for the grandparents because they haven't had to deal with curriculum type things for years, and they don't know what to do in terms of making sure this child is ready. You know, the parent might be deceased, or they might be incarcerated, or they might have some other challenges, the reason why they can't take care of the child. But nevertheless, that grandparent is left with no manual of this child, of what to do with this child, and they're feeling very stressed.
Yes.
And so fortunately with this program, Troop Bell, we can go in and help connect grandma with other grandparents and other resources, and just kind of be that liaison for her in terms of helping with, you know, developmental process. She feels comfortable, okay, there's this parent educator that's going to come in, and she's going to teach little Bobby his ABC. She's going to teach Bobby his colors, or he's going to teach Bobby to recognize his name. And a lot of times, you know, in cultural situations, we give our children nicknames, you know, and that's really okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you have to do is make sure that when you give him that nickname, or give her that nickname, that she knows or he knows his correct name when they go to school. And that's a challenge, you know, to be able to know the difference.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see, I'm telling you, when you were sitting there talking about the grandparent, I'd be lost if I had to really work with my grandchildren. We had dinner the other night with 2 of them, and the level that they're at now is, I mean, it's not the the Dick Jane books that I
Exactly.
grew up.
Exactly.
I'm giving my really age
Exactly.
away, but the simplicity, they are so complex
Exactly.
now. These
But
little
can
kids
you
are.
imagine being a grandma at 60, 65, and you're having to start
No.
all over
No.
again, being not a grandma, a mom of a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old?
No.
That's very scary.
And it happens every day.
So it's nothing. We can't change that situation.
That's right.
But at
And
Troop
God
Bell,
bless them
yes,
for taking that baby.
yes. But
you
at
know.
Troop Bell, we can be a support system and connect them with as many resources as we possibly can.
That's what I see your program as. Even while you were explaining in the beginning, just a connecting piece.
Yes.
Because, like you said, with the eyeglass need, with the hearing aid need, you were able to go to other places in
Yes.
the community to say, "Can you help?"
Yes.
And that's what we're all about.
Yes.
Really is making people aware of a need.
Yes.
And finding out who can help with that need.
Yes.
And then we become the real body,
Yes.
so to speak.
Helping with that need while making sure that children are ready and prepared and have the tools that they need educationally for school.
Wow. Okay, so if somebody wanted to make a donation, what do they need to do today? I mean, how can they, make a donation if they'd like to?
If they'd like to make a donation, they can call our office, Troop Bell. The number is 706-882-0480. And they can speak to me, Alfreda, or they can speak to Janet Heath Cox. Or they can come by our office. We strongly encourage the community, come by our office, see the materials that we use for the families. They would be just really amazed at the educational tools that we use. We're located at 200 Main Street.
Good.
In the Bank of America building on the
okay.
second floor. We're directly next door to United Way. We would love to come to your church, your organization, your corporation, and do a full presentation with statistics about the program, the growths and developments of the program, the numbers, whatever you need. Because sometimes people need to know a little bit more because, money, you work hard for your money, and you want to make sure that it's put in good soil.
And it's a tax-deductible gift,
It
isn't
is. It is.
And so
Yes.
that helps a lot of
Yes.
times. I mean, if you're a giver and like myself, you use those because right now we can still write those off
Yes.
on our taxes.
Yes, you can.
And
Yes,
if
you
it's
can.
tax deductible, that makes it even. It shouldn't stop you if
Yes.
it's not, but just because it is a tax deductible
Yes.
gift, it helps.
And although we mentioned a lot of partners that we mentioned, it's not always that they help financially. It could be other areas that they
That's right.
assist us in. So, we are in full-blown campaign mode to raise money for the program to ensure that it goes on, because the bottom line, regardless of how wonderful the program is, no matter how wonderful the impact or the results that we're getting, without money, we have to pay the staff. There are other things. And, we've scaled down to the bare bones, for this year going forward, just to make sure that we're not spending in areas that we should not. When we received the money from the governor's office, there were very specific things that we had to do that required money. And those things we don't have to do anymore. And so we're just trying to make sure that the dollars are spent very wisely.
Yeah.
Want to be good stewards over the community's money.
And these kids are precious.
They
you
are.
know.
They are.
They're just empty. I guess watching Dr. Phil, even, we can write on their slates of who they can become, and helping the parents understand that. And even while you're sitting there speaking, I mean, I was a mother at 18, and thank goodness the Lord was with me and through that process. And I'm sure I could have been a better parent. There was a lot of things I didn't know at 18, and you've got a lot of young mothers, just like I was, that really don't have a clue. And it's really good to have a program such as yours to help them help their children become all that they were created to be.
You know what, Diane? This program is not designed for any particular level for parents. This program is designed for, you can be a mom that's living in a challenging situation, or you can be a pediatrician, or you can be a psychologist. children do not come with a manual.
No, they don't.
And so regardless of what your status is, there's always something more that you can learn that will help you and your child advance in their development. So we want parents to know that there's no status in terms of early learning. There's no status in terms of child development. So if you want to learn more about, the Parents as Teacher model for Troop Bell, they can go to parentsasteachers.org, and it will tell them any and everything that they would need to know about this model that we're using and the progress that's done nationwide. And our parent educators are retrained every year and all through the year to make sure that we're up on the latest technology and the latest training techniques and things like that. So it's not a one-time training and then boom, you just go for the rest of, the life of the program. It is constant training, constant meeting with other programs, constant meeting with other directors to make sure that we are doing the very best that we can for Troup County.
How many children have you guys served probably since you've been here?
769 in the last 3 years.
Wow. Now, once they become 5 years old, they're in
school by then.
That's right.
And so there's really no need for us to reinvent the wheel. Our whole process is to help the school system's job a little easier if we possibly can. Not that they really need it, but we work very well.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure they'd take off.
If we can kind of get the parents to be aware of what it is that they need to do going into the school, because some parents might have one thought of what it requires when you go into the school, and it's really not that. So if we can help educate them on what they need to do, what their children need to know, what's the appropriate way to approach a teacher or meet with a teacher, then we can cut out some of those hindrances that comes, with school systems and families and things like that. Knowledge is power, and so we're trying to help increase the knowledge of our families.
Before we close today, tell me about your pins. What you got on your blouse there, that pretty sweater?
Well, this particular pin, the wagon, Troup County was acknowledged by America's Promise, which is a program that was founded by Colin Powell and his wife, to acknowledge communities all over the world that are doing a great job with early learning. And Miss Renee Willis and Miss Patty Youngblood and others of the community, they wrote up the information about Troup County and all the collaborations that we do here, and they sent it up, and we were acknowledged and awarded a grant, and just really recognized as being a county that's really good for early learning for young children to be raised in.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is absolutely wonderful. That might be a great thing to have Renee and Patty to talk about the American Promise. That was a great thing. And this particular pin is from Parents as Teachers, whomever has completed the certification, and they are recognized across the country as being a certified national trainer for Parents as Teachers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're really proud.
So y'all really have done a lot of work in preparing to help as well, as we've talked about earlier in the program, because it is important. Our children are our future.
Yes.
And we need to sow into their lives.
Yes.
And pray over them, I believe, and because they have got amazing stuff inside of them.
They are.
And for us, even as adults, and me at my age, and you want to be challenged to pull the things out of you, and sometimes we can find ourselves we can get in a place of complacency. And so those of you that are watching today, maybe this new year you want to be challenged into something. Maybe it's to sow a seed. I know Jack and I have adopted a couple of children financially abroad that we sow into their lives every month. And we give into them, and we feed the children. We're in that program, and we like to do that. But maybe today, in talking about Troup Bell, you've been moved to want to sow into your own community and to pour and put back into your own community, because LaGrange is a unique area. I believe that that personally, God is doing wonderful things in this area, and I can't wait to see, even in a few more years, what's being done now by all of us joining together and you being a piece of the puzzle that plugs in and connects different organizations and making them aware of the needs of our children. You know,
and can I say this
yes.
Before we close? And you saying being unique, we are so culturally diverse. We have children that are from Korea in our program.
Yes.
We have children that are Hispanic. We have children that are biracial, African American, Caucasian. So we have covered Chinese. We have covered the entire
and you wouldn't
spectrum.
think that probably here in little southern,
Oh,
a little
yes.
southern Georgia town.
Oh, yes.
But that's
Oh,
how
yes.
small the world is.
Yes,
Isn't it?
yes, yes, and it's a beautiful rainbow.
Yes, and we can
Beautiful.
touch so many people's
Yes.
lives and so many children's lives.
Yes.
So if you'd like to be a part, maybe you'd like to make a donation today, and you can do that by calling Alfreda at 706-882-0480. Let me ask this before we go. We've got about 3 minutes.
Sure.
Do you ever have any volunteers? It's not a volunteer.
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
I didn't ask.
Yes, I am so sorry. I should have said that. We love volunteers. Please, you know, retired teachers, or you might just be a mom that has some spare time. We have wonderful volunteer opportunities. So just give us a call and we can tell you what we have. And we are so fortunate to have at least 17 students from the LaGrange College that come and volunteer with us once a month for all 12 months of the year, and so we're fortunate to have them. Thanks, Vicki Powell up at the college. Thanks, Vicki. You know, but we're so fortunate.
So there
Yes.
is things for
Yes,
you to do.
yes.
If you'd like to put
It's
your
not always about money.
hands to the plow.
Yes,
That's right.
Yes, not always about money.
And so if you can come in and come alongside, maybe you've even got, maybe you're like me and you was in marketing for years, and maybe you come up with some marketing ideas. You never know.
If you can't put money and if you can't volunteer, we can always use your prayers. Yes, yes.
That's good. That's good. Well, that's exciting. We've got some wonderful things going on in Troup County. And Alfreda, I'm excited that you were here today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for pouring your life into these young children's lives, because you're making a difference. And that's the name of the program, of course, is You Make the Difference.
Yes.
Because Christ in us is truly the hope of glory. And I know we've not talked so much about the Lord today, but you see, we're talking about the gifts and the talents that are in these little bitty kids that they came here with. They were prepackaged with special little gifts. And just because they had those little gifts as little children, I want to say to you as adults today that are watching this program, you have that special package inside of you today too. And you may be 30, or you may be like me, close to 60. And maybe you've never tapped into that little special package that God sent you here with. There's a purpose for your life. You see, we're all important.
Yes.
There's no little eyes
That's right.
in the kingdom.
That's
We're
right.
all very important, and God has specific things that He needs us to do.
Yes.
And when we're doing what we were created to do, we run really well.
Yes.
It's kind of like that blender. You know, you can't make the blender be a steamer because it's created to be a blender. And it blends really well, but it doesn't steam food very good.
Yes.
And so the main thing is that we plug in and find out, what are we? Who are we? And what are we supposed to be doing? And so just like Troop Bell plugs in and helps all these other organizations find out about the needs in the community, then they all come together. And that's what we're all about. And the kingdom of God is that way too. If we'll just find that little niche that God created us for, and we get plugged into that, and let other people be aware, whatever, and the body of Christ come together and operate in the way that He created us to do and be, I believe we will be amazed at the things that we can accomplish together when we just do our part. And so I want to challenge you today in this new year of 2012, look at your life and say, is it where I want it to be, or do I want to be challenged this year? Remember, God loves you. You make the difference. Christ in you is truly the hope of glory. See you next week. Bye-bye now.
Oh, 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 oh.